Sport. Whether you're a builder or an office worker, a student or a teacher, I can almost guarantee your weekend looks something like this. With the British sports industry making up an estimated £39 billion of the UK economy, it's almost become a staple of life for Brits. In the 2022-23 season alone, 15 million fans attended a Premier League game, 12 million attended a Championship game, 5 million attended a League One game, while 2 million attended a League Two game, meaning a massive 32 million fans spent their weekend watching professional football in a stadium. Adding to this the 4.7 billion fans supporting from their sofas, the English football leagues have become some of the most watched in the world. Despite this, football is not alone. 1 in 5 Brits say they have an interest in rugby, 25% of Brits say they follow professional tennis, and 8 million people say they have an interest in athletics. But despite all this, there's one side of sport that isn't talked about: parasport. In this documentary, I want to explore the evolution of disability and inclusivity in sport and answer the question, how has disability and inclusivity in sport evolved over time? Parasport is defined by the Cambridge Dictionary as a sport that people who suffer with disabilities can participate with. In order to discover whether there has been enough positive change over the years, we need to look back at the history. According to a document published by the Royal College of Edinburgh, the first record of disability in sport was held in 1948 when England hosted the first wheelchair games. The event took place at Stoke Mandeville Hospital, where 17 men with spinal injuries took part in an informal game of archery against residents of the nearby Star of Granite care home. The care home looked after ex-servicemen. According to the same document, there is little evidence that there is any sort of disability in sport before the Second World War, and even in the years after, it was only used as a form of socialising. One exception of this, however, was when the French started the Comité des Sourds Muets, which translates to the deaf-mute community. This was one of the first things that started to educate people internationally about deaf people and show them that they can also get involved in sport. The deaf-mute community was established in the year 1924, 100 years ago. In order to gain an insight on how disability and inclusivity has evolved in sport, we need to look at the present day as well. To do that, I spoke to the manager and some players at Worthing FC.
A lot of us left the community because one of our favourite coaches left, but then we went to go and make the village, but that unfortunately folded. But then Ginge, who went to go to Worthing, and the lad built it, and then that's where we're here right now, to be honest. Yeah, it can a lot, because like if I didn't have football right now, I don't know where I'd be right now, to be honest.
Say socially, do you meet people? Is it to meet new people?
Yeah, we meet new people, and then we always like have a good time to hang around. I always have a laugh, so it's always good.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, because I think disability football needs to be talked about a lot more, because what we see in disability football a lot of these days is like, yeah, these guys are really good, and like they don't get enough recognition that they deserve.
Definitely, yeah. That's all my questions.
Lovely.
Thank you. To find out some information about the background, I spoke to the manager.
Who then I started doing football, coaching with them. Worked with Brighton and Hove for a while. Broke away from them, we started our own team called Village, who unfortunately folded. And then me, my brother and my best friend had like 50 odd players that wanted to stay with us. So we approached George Dow, the owner of Worthing, and said we wanted to start a disability football team. Would he be able to affiliate us? He jumped at it, and we've been going for 5+ years now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think there's a big demand then for people with disabilities to get involved in sport?
Yeah, I do feel there is. I work in a SEN school as a teaching assistant, and I have kids come up to me from the ages of, from year 7, saying they want to get into football and they don't feel there's enough out there because it's not signposted enough.
Yeah.
So there is a very high demand for doing it, and I think more teams should be more involved in it, really.
Yeah. Could you just talk me through some of the benefits that this could have, like, for instance, mentally and socially?
Mentally, it's helped a lot of my lads. Some of them I hear that they don't look like they've got a disability, but they've actually got a lot of mental health issues. And just socialising once a week down here with their friends, playing in the league, because we play over at Lancing in the Sussex Disability League, but we've also just started over at Hampshire playing in their Disability League. And the travelling to and from the games is the banter. That's what all the lads and some of the girls really like.
Yeah.
Hearing them in the car or on the minibus afterwards, I tend to try and put my headphones in because I have to drown them out. They enjoy it a lot more. The socials are really good and all that. And a lot of them become quite good friends away from here. They sit there and watch their Xboxes and stuff like that. I think there needs to be more opportunities, like obviously advertise the leagues a bit more.
Yeah.
Get more grassroots teams involved with helping youth players with disabilities come up so they can grow up. We had one lad that came here, played for us, and I think he was with us for about a year. Next thing you know, he's got trials to go and play for the England disability and stuff like that because he actually committed a lot and he enjoyed it. And he travelled away from Crawley down to come train with us. It is out there, it just needs to be more advertised and give more opportunities to grassroots teams.
Yeah.
Try and provide it.
Yeah, that's all the questions I've got. Thank you.
No problem.
Cheers, thank you.
All right.
Let's focus on specifically para-football, or pan-football. There is multiple different versions of pan-football to make sure everyone has the same opportunity. It can look and sound very different depending on who is playing. For those with visual disabilities or visual impairments, the ball often contains a bell or something inside that will make a noise when moving around. This will ensure that the players can use sound instead of sight to locate the ball on the pitch. Every player must wear a blindfold to ensure that the game is fair and everyone has the same advantage.
For those who have lost certain limbs but are not fully dependent on a wheelchair, there is the opportunity to play on crutches. The rules are the same, but every player uses some form of walking aid. According to a straw poll, the most popular para-sport is currently wheelchair basketball. It is a fast-paced, competitive game where the aim is to get the ball through the hoop. Each player uses a wheelchair.
The place you've most likely seen disability in sport would be the Paralympics. Let's look closer at its history.
Athletes from 150 different countries participate in the event, which lasts 3 weeks.
3,027 gold medals have been awarded. 385 of them have been won by the USA. The rest have been spread across 91 other countries. China are also the recent champions and have topped the charts 5 times in the event's history, including Tokyo 2020. During the event in 2020, the Asian country won 27 gold medals, 14 silver medals and 11 bronze medals.
Although China and the USA are the most successful nations, the most successful individual was an Italian named Mari Scuti. In Rome 1960, she won 11 medals, 9 of which were gold. The only athlete to ever come close to this record was Brett Dabson in 1988. However, competing is not for everyone, and some people just like to watch it. Sport should be adapted to make sure that everyone can enjoy it in the same way. As of 2021, 15% of fans that attended a Premier League or EFL match suffered with a disability. After retaking the survey in 2022, Level Playing Field found that this had risen to 28.5%. There is, however, a number of fans that say they cannot attend football matches or any other types of sport because the stadium simply doesn't fit their needs. One stadium this did not include, though, was the brand new £1 billion Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is considered one of the biggest and best in Europe, and is specifically designed to make sure that everyone has the same experience on a match day. The stadium's capacity is 64,000, with it containing the largest single-tier stands in the country, where 17.5 thousand fans can support their team from. The stadium is state-of-the-art in terms of a disability arena. It contains 500 disabled seats, which are spread throughout the stadium, 250 wheelchair spaces, 67 accessible toilets and 3 changing stations. There is also a separate entrance for disabled fans to enter from. This helps with disabilities such as autism, as people don't have to queue for as long. The stadium also features a sensory room in the north stand for home and away fans. So, how has inclusivity and disability evolved in sport over time? Well, people with disabilities have much better access to it as opposed to 100 years ago. There is much more information about it, and a lot more people are getting educated in the subject to make sure that everyone has the knowledge and understanding, so there is positive change. Football stadiums are now specifically built to make sure that those with disabilities can get around them and access a match day like any other fan. Para-football leagues have been set up, and for those who suffer with disabilities, they can now access their favourite sport and play it like any other athlete. However, much more needs to be done. There needs to be more recognition in mainstream media to ensure that everyone has the same opportunity. My name's Will, and this is how I think disability and inclusivity has evolved in sport